the paper, and then you will definitely move in the right direction to choose a perfect research topic. So the content of my presentation includes a type of research paper, type of research method, type of sources for research paper. So there are various type of research paper: argumentative research paper, persuasive research paper, informative research paper, compare and contrast research paper, cause and effect research paper, interpretive research paper. As the name suggests, you may get the idea, okay, what will be there in the research paper. But let's see how to uh, organize the content into the specific type of paper, or how to identify this paper is coming under which category. So let's begin with this. The very first one, argumentative research paper. Here, the writer assumes a position on certain issues and then presents fact and logical arguments to defend its position. So the stress is given on assumption on some point. So when you read a paper, so you will come to, if you come to know that there is a assumption on some point, so okay, so you will immediately mark that this is going to be a argumentative research paper. Then writing a argumentative research paper means to present argument with supporting statement backed by the research. So definitely there has to be some research, whether it is technical or non-technical, some experiment will be there. And then it is supporting the assumption. So let us see, generally most of the research paper are like this only. So let's see the format, how to present our data in this format. Uh, when our students, they do the preparation for masters in US, no? So they appear for GRE. In GRE, very first section is analytical writing, where they have to write certain essay, and that essay carries 5 marks. So the motto of taking that exam is to check the ability of a candidate, uh, the critical thinking and analytical writing, how the candidate present, how he put into written communication. So here is the paper format of argumentative uh, paper, and this is just a sample. There are multiple way to put in the content. So this is one of the way I'm explaining over here. Uh, First of all, when you start writing, you have to write an introduction, and the introduction of any topic. So you have to set up your claim. Okay, generally introduction includes 1 or 2 paragraphs. So you have to set up your claim, and then what is optional in that paragraph. Uh, uh, Thing is that you have to, when you write introduction, so you have to write introduction in such a way that you should be capable enough to pull the reader and attach the reader to your paper, so that he should not leave and go away. Generally, in my case, what I'm saying, when I used to I read a paper, no, so I feel very boring and then I leave. Okay, let me read. So when I give 2-3 attempts, then only I read a full paper. So you have to organize your introduction content in such a way that it should be very fresh, it should be very interesting, and it should be attracting the reader. Okay, so in order to make more interesting, more attracting, you have to focus on background information. Okay. With regards to this background information, I just want to share one small experience of mine. In I'm doing my PhD from Tokyo, and my guide is getting the review option, review with the paper right from Korea, from China, from Japan. So he used to send me the papers. Okay, so last week he sent me a paper of Korea, and this Korean paper, they have implemented reinforcement learning on some Chinese game. And when I was reading that paper, I was not able to understand what is the Chinese game, because that paper was not giving me complete information, complete background detail about that particular Chinese game. Okay, that paper is there still in my laptop, but due to some constraint, I'm not showing you. So think that when you write a paper, that means entire world is going to read your paper. So every person should be capable in, should be able to retrieve whatever you want to say. So in that way, you have to arrange your content. Okay, so what is the required element when you write introduction? If you are arguing about any literary work, then you must specify author and its title. That means references part. And if you are arguing about any issue theory, provide brief explanation or your issue or theory. If you are arguing about any movie, state director, which year, and what is the title. Okay, and state your claim at the end of introductory paragraph. So you write background detail, you write everything, and then finally at the end of introductory paragraph, you will state your claim. Okay, so that means uh, the assumption, like argumentative paper, no, where you are assuming some claim. So you, before assuming, you have to state your claim. So that comes in introduction part. And then this background approach, this is background paragraph. This is optional. It depends on the what type of uh, uh, area you are writing a paper. If it is necessary, then you have to explain. Like in that case, that Chinese game case, I was not able to understand what is it, and I want more information. So in that case, it is necessary to provide a background. Okay. And what is the purpose of background? That means it lays the foundation for proving your argument. So it creates the foundation on which you, the readers can understand. Okay, so this background, what it should be the content of background. It should include a summary of work that is being discussed, and definition of key terms and explanation of key theories. Okay, then once this is done, then you have to support the claim. So that means supporting evidence required. So in next paragraph, so this thing, supporting evidence, this, how will you support? You will support through your experiment, you will support through your work. Okay, and then you will explain everything, experimentation and all references. So the supporting evidence purpose is just to prove your argument. You will take up a topic sentence, then you will explain the topic sentence. Okay, and finally you will conclude overall claim. Hello, am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Audible.
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir. Yes, sir.
Okay, because I mean, here I'm presenting, so I'm not able to see the chat box and all. Thank you. Thank you. You can interrupt me in between if you have any question. Okay, and yeah, after explaining evidence, you have to conclude your sentence. Now, this thing is okay. While writing this kind of paper, now you have to think the other way. That means you have one stand. Now, what? Assume that it is now false. For example, say one non-technical question and topic I'm giving. Say in Mahabharata, Arjun and Karna, who is more powerful? And your stand is saying Karna is more powerful. You said Karna is more powerful, and then uh, somebody will question how Karna is more powerful. So through entire Mahabharata, you will go to the various episodes. Okay, there was a Virat war. In that war, Arjuna defeated entire Kaurava army. Then there was another incident in jungle where uh, uh, Karna and Duryodhan and all those, they will capture by the people over there, and then Arjuna alone, he them just take them away. And so that is the points over there. Then, but you have to defend, Karna is more powerful. So all these incidences were there in the Mahabharata. So finally, you have to come to the end part where Krishna, at the end of Mahabharata, he said, Arjun, that you first get down from this chariot, and then I will come out from here. So when they leave the chariot, at the time there was an explosion in the chariot. Then Arjuna asked, oh, why this happened? So then uh, Krishna said, this is because of Karna's arrows. So it was there me who was holding this carrot. Otherwise, you would have lost very firstly. So since God himself saying, so this is the concluding part. So the gist is that what I mean to say, dear participants, at the end, whenever you are taking a stand, you have to think other way, and you have to write a counter argument paragraph that is and that is just to anticipate your reader's objection and make yourself sound more objective, reasonable. Again, I said this is one of the way of writing a paper, and it is, again, here comes optional. So not necessary that every argumentative paper should have this counter argument paragraph. Okay, and then you have to now take out all the objections, you have to go through it, and then at the end you have to specify that why your claim is better. So end paragraph with concluding a sentence that reasserts your paper's claim as a whole. Okay, so you have to touch that part as well. And then finally you have to write conclusion. Here see, this is a very tricky part over here. This requires analytical and critical thinking and English, both thing. And generally what happen, abstract and conclusion, it is repeating. Okay, so this should not be there. So here you have to leave a punch so that reader should get impressed by your writing skill. So so you will divide a conclusion into two parts, and first part you will summarize your entire paragraph. Okay, so the purpose is to remind readers of your argument and supporting evidences. Okay, and conclusion you were most likely taught. Okay, this is non-technical, that's why here high school is mentioned, but the approach will be the same. And then second part, this the highlighted one. Your conclusion should serve as the climax of a paper. So save your strongest analytical point for the conclusion, okay, at the end of your paper, and use them to drive your conclusion. So in this way, you will write entire argumentative paper. Okay. Next comes persuasive research paper. Uh, Persuasive research paper or argumentative paper, almost the same pattern format. Uh, Persuasive means what? You are persuading something. So here, writing a persuasive paper means you are tasked to convince or influence your intended audience on some perspective. Okay, so now you can correlate argumentative and perspective. Okay, that it is going to be the same. Okay, so now to guarantee your success, your paper must not leave any question hanging. So you have to answer every loose end. Okay, so that means the dealing with the counterpart. So you can now correlate with these two. And then the structure of a paper should be well organized so that arguments and the thought presented flow in a logical manner. So by the explanation over here, you can make out that argumentative and persuasive research paper going to be the same format. Okay, so here I'm not opening that format. It is going to be same. Then the next one, informative research paper. Here, as the name suggests, informative research paper aim to discover and explain new information about a certain topic. So this type of paper can be used to either prove or disprove already existing information. So again, you are proving or disproving. That means there is some fact initially, and then you are proving the fact again, or you are disproving that claim. So you can think of it is the similar similar to argumentative and persuasive. Okay. And the most important aspect of writing informative research paper is like gathering information from credible resources. So that means since you are proving or disproving, so you whatever the thing you're taking for proving, it has to be authenticated. It should be credible sources. So like Vijay sir said, if you are taking a data set, somebody asked about drugs thing. So you cannot give drug. Any doctor cannot give a new drug. Who can give drug? Only ICMR, that too, only a drug company, that to permission of DGCI ICMR. So they will do all the gathering work. They will do all the research, survey, analysis, and then they will represent the data. So that data becomes the credible source. So in that manner, like reputed journal published, they can be a credible sources. So in order to support your evidence, you have to use credible sources over here. So it is again of the writing this kind of paper is again of the similar pattern: argumentative, persuasive, and informative. Then there comes a different category, which is nothing but compare and contrast. So as the name suggests, that means you will compare two other types. And the compare and contrast research paper, this will vary in both form and content. So now this is going to vary. So here what you will do, you are required to choose two or more issues to compare and contrast. Here, what is the mistake, general mistake one can do? It is like only describing the selected topic and submit it without any comparison, not comparing, or not comparing on all the points, comparing only on few points. So this has to be taken care when you are writing compare and contrast research paper. And it generally include much of history and literary characters. So let's see this format. So generally comparison, compare and contrast research, you can compare two things, either a holistic approach or head-to-head comparison. So I'm not going to entire detail, I'm just going to the exact gist of the thing. So this is the two comparison way if you're writing compare and contrast paper. So first one is holistic. In the holistic approach, what you will do here, for example, they have this paper is showing example of comparison of two countries. So first holistic one, you will take first country, you will jot down all the points, okay, of country number one, and then you will go to second country and you will similarly write down all the points of that, okay, and then you will do a comparison of country on all the 4 points which is taken over here on that factor, and finally you will conclude. So this is holistic. Take one, complete explanation, then take two, complete explanation, then compare, and then finally write conclusion. So this is a holistic approach. And the second one says you do head to head. That means you will take out the factor and first factor, write down the comparison of both the things. So after writing introduction, take first point, like for example over here, historical factor, take historical factor for country number one, country number two, compare. Similarly, second point, country number one, country number two, and so on. So all the points you are comparing. So here, what is the main point over here, that whatever the factor, possible factor are there for any particular algorithm, you will write down that factor, and on that factor you have to compare all the algorithm or both the algorithms, whatever number of algorithm is there. So it is necessary, you have to compare in all the parameters. And then finally, you will write the conclusion. So this is regarding compare and contrast paper. And the writing format will be similar, introduction and then your supporting evidence, and then finally conclusion part. Then the next one comes as a cause and effect research paper. So this type of research paper focus on certain issues and analyze reasons for particular result along with its effect on everything involved. So one can investigate a historic event and how the event is unfolded, the result can be seen today. Okay, so it should be a detailed, logical, and structured. So cause and effect. That means here, when you write this kind of paper, you need to be give reasoning in forward manner. So it has to be a forward reasoning approach. Okay, and format for this is. Yeah. So the key steps over here are this 7 steps. You select possible topic for your research, brainstorm, meet with instructor, advisor, and then narrow the topic, come to the very pithy statement, and then write and submit your thesis. I mean, before this, you need to do all experiments and plan for information search, and utilize note card to gather information from your sources, prepare and submit online research paper. So here the most important point is that you should have a detailed analysis of cause and effect. Okay, so that word brainstorming is necessary over here in order to write a cause and effect research paper. And the format for writing will be exactly same the way I have explained the very first one. Then comes the interpretive research paper. Uh, it proves interpretive research paper, no, it proves as a challenge to the writer, as it is not only demanding for writing and research, but it is also requiring critical and analytical thinking as well, because you are interpreting something. Okay, so uh, as the name suggests, no, one must interpret the topic of choice, and this type of research paper is mostly used in humanities field, so where they interpret certain thing. Okay, so generally this is not in the technical paper. Then comes types of research scientific methods. Before starting this, I just want to tell you one thing, that people get confused with the type of research paper and type of research method. Okay, so these two are different thing. Certain research paper will be requiring you to collect your own data, which can be done through the use of research scientific methods. Now, how I understood this, since we are doing MBA work, so we are doing a COPO evaluation, and we have direct attainment and indirect attainment. Where direct attainment, we actually deal with the students' marks, that means number. So when number comes, that becomes quantitative. And indirect attainment, we actually deals with the survey. some opinion, some feedback. So that shows the quality. So that becomes a qualitative research work. So actually, the methods are like this only. One deals with number, another deals with the opinion. So let me take the first one, quantitative research method. Uh, it is designed for a collection of cold and hard facts. That means number. So whatever facts you have, you just collect it. And this method is, since there is a number, you just stress on this point, number. So this method is going to be more structured and statistical. You have number, then you can do some statistic on it. So it is more structured and statistical because it heavily relies on the number. Whereas the qualitative research method, on the other hand, it gathers information on the topic uh, to describe it rather than measure it. So it is not measuring, it is describing. So it is less structure, as it is based on the survey impression, view, or some opinion. This qualitative one, it deals with the deeper into topic to gain information about people, society, their motivation, pattern of thinking, and behaviors. So here I'm talking in general, but yeah, related with the particular research domain, uh, it can be like a pattern of thinking, or pattern of behavior for one particular input. So you can say a qualitative means what you can do observation. So while there is a depth to the research method, uh, the results are very hard to analyze in case of qualitative research method, because it is totally depend on the views, opinion, no. So it becomes little bit difficult for analyze. Whereas if you deal with the number, then it is very systematic, structured, and uh, 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 it is, you are going to get proper accuracy over here in terms of a quantitative one. Then comes the types of sources for research paper. This is very important. Uh, the sources are divided into three parts: primary source, secondary source, and tertiary source. Uh, it is actually integral to understand this type of references in research paper to ensure quality and credible sources. As you begin searching, uh, and you are applying that into your research work. So these three things plays a very important role. So let's see what is a primary source. Uh, Primary means what, you can think of it is the original work, okay, uh, on which others research is based. And original works means what, from where you will get original works. That means the reputed journal, okay, which is published in academic journal, the paper. And then comes the secondary one. uh, Secondary means these are the sources that describe or analyze a primary sources. It includes reference material along with books and other articles. And this reference material can be encyclopedia, it can be any textbook, it can be a dictionary. And then finally comes tertiary sources. Tertiary sources is just like you can think of an index where it is having a both primary and secondary source information. So these are like uh, used for locating and organizing primary and secondary sources. And they can be index, they are abstracts, and databases. So these are about type of sources of research paper. Okay, so that's all from my side. Thank you. Let me see, is there any question?
Uh, okay, now the session is open for question answers. Like if you are writing a particular paper, research paper in a particular category, and you have any query or you have any doubt regarding that, or if you are planning to write and then you want some direction for that in a particular domain, then we can answer those questions. As discussed earlier, the sessions will not be only one-way sessions. These will be both-way sessions. So Jay sir and myself, we can answer your queries. Yes, any participant? Anyone? Okay, so we have first query. Sir, what type of graph can we represent in research paper? Okay, okay, we have a question from Damajoti ma'am that what kind of graph we can represent. See, the type of graph that you can represent that depends on what actually you want to present as a result. Okay, let me give you some example with the help of
It depends on data set.
sorry sir.
Uh,
Uh, Sir, am I missing something?
yeah, no, no, sir. Go ahead, sir.
Okay, the question and second question is, sir, how should be hierarchy of writing papers till PhD end? See, when you are doing PhD and you are writing a paper, normally you should begin your research with a review paper. That first paper of your, what we can say, your PhD work should be a review paper or a comparative paper. Review or comparison paper. So why you should do compare this thing? See, first, let's say you want to do a PhD on, let's say, cancer detection, and you are detecting cancer using some MRI images, let's say. So first, the thing that you should do is you should read all the papers which are there till now on MRI. But normally it becomes very difficult because there will be hundreds of papers. So what you can do? You can select that. Okay, what are the different algorithms which are applied? Let's say they have applied neural network. From neural network, they have applied multi-layer perceptron. They have applied CNN. Let's say they have applied RNN. Then they have applied support vector machine. And let's say there are two more algorithms. Let's say A1 and A2. So as a comparison, first you should check whether they have used same data set for experimentation or not. If they have used same data set for experimentation, then comparison is very straightforward. That what is their accuracy, what is the accuracy of multi-layer perceptron and data set CNN. So it will be a simple comparative table. Either you can create a table or you can create a graph. So here you can use a bar graph. That is the most appropriate choice. But let's say these three papers are in one data set, and these three first three papers are on data set one, and remaining two papers are used data set two. Then the first comparison that you should do is compare data set one with data set two, and you should tell which data set is more complete. So what is complete data set and all that we will see after lunch break session. So first you should compare this. For now here you can create a tabular comparison. Like how many records are there in data set one, how many records are in data set two, whether those are complete or not, as discussed earlier, that whether it contains cover both the genders, many age groups, something like that. And once that, then you can go for this bar graph comparison. Then you can check for accuracy and all. So this comparison, yes, we can do. So this should be your first paper, that where you are comparing entire research work done till now, and then you can go for with some experimentation. And once you're while doing experimentation, you can pursue that okay, then you can pursue that particular method gives better accuracy. Let's say you can say that CNN gives better accuracy as compared to RNN and multi-layer perceptron. SVM also. So now you can pursue in your research paper that CNN gives better accuracy. And once you are pursuing that, why and how you are pursuing? You are pursuing with the help of you are pursuing it with the help of your experimental results. That I did 50 experiments with CNN, 50 experiments with RNN, 50 with multi-layer perceptron, 50 with support vector machine. And at that now we know the accuracy of CNN is better. And once you are done with your pursuing, now you can say that this is my approach. So which will give you the final PhD. And for this approach, I'm using CNN. So your approach means what? How you are going to process it as something. And now you can say that according to my previous study, CNN gives better accuracy. And according to that's why in my approach, I am using CNN and so on. So this is your flow. How you can go with different types of research papers during your PhD or during your research. First, you will start with review or comparison paper. Comparison. Now you know what are the methods available, which methods are more widely used, which methods can be effective. And now you will use those methods to do your experimentation. And you will come up with some set of evidences that method X is a better. This X can be any algorithm depending on your situation. And then you will use that method in your approach. So this is how you should go with. Normally what people do, they directly go with RNN. क्यों RNN use करना है? Because everyone is using RNN. But is it so that RNN is best for your approach? That you don't know. Is RNN best for your domain? That they don't. They directly start with this third paper. And that's why many people either stuck up somewhere or they fail. So instead of that, if you will go with this first a review paper, which will complete first phase of your PhD, that is a literature survey. So this will constitute your two chapters of your PhD thesis, that is a introduction part and a literature survey. And then this experimentation part will cover this data set analysis and some other part. Let's say it will cover unit number 3. And then your approach will go with unit number 4, 5, something like that, depending on how many approaches you are proposing. In that way, your PhD will be on track and you are not missing anything. Do not start with paper 3, which is the case with 90% teachers. So start with this, then this, and this is your step number 3. Okay, I hope I answered the query properly. Okay, how language of writing matters? It is a question from Amit Gaude. See, language of writing matters a lot when it comes to final paper selection. So final paper selection is what, let's say your English is not that good, but your approach is effective. Then what they will do? Then in your review, they will tell you that yes, your paper is accepted, and there will be a comment that grammar improvement. There will be a comment for your improving your grammar. So that you can do afterwards. That this should not be your primary concern, but at the same time, your English should be at least somewhat decent to get first level of approval, or let's say, or what we can say, to get a first positive review. Afterwards, you can take help of some of friends from your humanities department, communication faculties, and all, and you can mention their name in thanking paragraph or something like that in your paper. That we can do. Amit sir, I hope I answered your query.
Sir, one more question is there. How many papers do we have to write compulsorily in entire PhD curriculum?
Saima, this depends on university to university. Yeah? When it comes to IIT, what they say is that they want initial first two papers normally in IEEE conference. So what they are saying, two papers in IEEE conference. Then they say that okay, there should be at least one paper in transaction. So this is for IIT normally. That was my last knowledge. I don't know the current state exactly. It might be different. Then some university they
Yes,
say
sir.
2 Scopus
Uh,
papers.
yeah, I just want to tell about my guide what he said. The way you said one paper in IEEE conference, and then he said one paper in IEEE journal.
Yes, sir. Then
Yeah.
some university says 2 papers in Scopus Index journals or SCIE journals. This E is important, extended. SCI is one indexing, SCI is another indexing. E stands for expanded. Or they says one paper in SCI journal. So when you say one paper in SCI journals are not easy to crack. So it depends on university to university. And some university says that okay, UGC papers, 3 UGC journal papers are also okay. But again, that depends on university. These universities are very less. But again, this creates a serious question mark on your PhD quality. So don't go with this. At least this criteria is normally referred by most of the university in India. That are 2 Scopus index papers or SCI papers. In the SCI index papers.
So one more question is there.
Yes,
Is
ma'am.
there any selective criteria we should use to select our interest papers?
Selective criteria to select your interest papers. See,
Yeah.
actually, I think the question is a bit ambiguous to me, but I'll try to answer the question. And if the answer is vague or it is not up to your satisfaction, then please ask your question in more tuned manner. Okay. See, your interest paper, it's something like, see, for example, let's say, as discussed earlier, there are papers on, let's say, using CNN for cancer detection. So what you can do, what is the first paper on cancer detection using CNN that you should use, that you must read? Why? Because here that person will tell why CNN, why other approaches are not working properly. Because as a first person, he must tell na, ki why he is using CNN. But let's say the first paper is in year, let's say 1998. And in 1998, there are 5 papers which are saying that CNN is good for cancer detection. Then you should select the paper from best publication. So let's say 2 papers are from some conference, 2 papers are from journal, and 1 paper is from transaction. So if your understanding of that particular domain is extremely good, then you can go with transaction paper. But if your understanding is not that good, then you should select one journal paper and then go with it. And once you understand that, then only you should go with some paper from year 2000. Because when the person is writing the paper in year 2000, he assumes that whatever is written in paper published in 1998, person at least have some sort of idea about it. This is a paper, not a 100 pages or 200 pages thesis. So they assume that they have some idea. So while reading the papers or selecting the papers, you should start from beginning paper and then move upwards so that you will understand the evaluation also. So that is always a better idea. Otherwise, what happens? It happened with one of the PhD candidate what happened that okay, in 2016 he came up with idea. Oh, this is something which is never done. I'll do it. He was doing research, and during his presentation with some, what you can say, that 6 monthly presentation, na, one of the reviewer told, okay, I have come across similar idea, not exactly same, but similar idea. I have read this paper. So I cannot say this is innovation. So when he read that paper was from year 1996 or something like that, and they were having 40 to 50% similarity. तो वो गड़बड़ हो गया. So he thought कि complete हो गया. तो ऐसा नहीं होना चाहिए. So that you should start from beginning and go one by one. But while moving forward, please eliminate conference papers completely. If you have some alternative as a journal paper, then go for it. If you are really good with concept, then only go for transaction papers. Otherwise, stick to journal papers. And it is not necessary that only you should go with IEEE, Elsevier and Scopus. Elsevier papers are equally good. प्रॉब्लम नहीं आता है. World's 33% or let's say 30 to 33% research is available on IEEE, but still there is at least 67% research available, which is a very big number. So you should refer to that also. So if I have not answered your question properly, then please ask it one more time.
Yes, sir, I understood. Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you. Then let's say sometime what happens that on my on my topic there is no journal paper available directly, and I'm not able to identify or I'm not able to understand those journal papers properly. So मैं क्या कर सकता हूँ? So in that case, what you should do, you should look for conference paper with a minimum page length of 6 pages, where they have explained their experiment properly.
Okay, okay.
If experiment is properly explained, then what will happen that at least तुम्हें समझ में आएगा कि किया क्या है. Normally what happens, IEEE pages papers are for of 4 pages. Of those 4 pages, 1 page goes into that introduction, or let's say 60% something. 2 pages are in introduction and literature survey only. Then they go for 1 page on your experimentation and something, or let's say 1.5 page, and a half page on that references. So what you will understand from this 1.5 page, how they have did the experiments, what is hidden things and all.
True.
So select papers with more length, and those papers are normally available on this Elsevier and Springer ACM and all. And if paper are not directly available, then you can look for that SkyHub. I guess everyone is familiar with the SkyHub. Am I right? That is some facility provided by Russians, thanks to them. Though it is not what we can say legal, but you can download the papers.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Any other question or a query? See, even though you are going with your own PhD or research concept and you are asking, then we can elaborate that thing in a bit also. Okay. If no, then I'll go with Jay sir. Would you like to add anything?
No, sir.
Okay. In that case,
Actually,
I'll go.
selecting a topic, it totally depends on individual's area of interest,
Yes, sir.
subject domain. So when you type in digital library your domain, you will see lot of paper in various areas, and then which area attracts you, that is up to you. And then you go through that area and then you read the papers. And if you find it that you are comfortable, then you can select it and you can go ahead with that. The only this session, the importance of this session is just to realize or analyze what type of paper you are reading, so that it will give you idea what is to be noted for while reading the paper. Yeah, thank you.
Okay. Now, if you don't have any query, then I'll explain my flow of research work or writing the papers during my PhD. So the first thing that I did during my PhD was this. The first thing I did during my PhD was I did some experiments. I did some experiments using machine learning algorithm on my dataset. On my dataset for PhD, yeah? Not any dataset. On my dataset of PhD. So while performing experiments, I tried more than 10 algorithms to check the efficiency. So when we say that I'm going for checking the efficiency, it not only means accuracy. I was talking about computational efficiency, then computational complexity, and many other things that we already know. So this was my first thing. So, and after that, I shortlisted 3 algorithms. One was a naive Bayesian algorithm. Another was decision tree algorithm. And there was something like multi-layer perceptron, or basically in neural network, there is something called as forget about that. In neural network, there are many algorithms. One is called as mean max neural network. So this is something I explored when I was helping one of my colleague in her PhD work. So then during one of my presentation, external asked me, okay, why you are not exploring neural network? So I told them, okay, neural network are bit slow when it comes to real life applications. So, and I don't want to go with that, what we can say, GPU. So this was something in the year 2013 something. At that time, GPU were very costly and what not that familiar, what we can say, popular in India. So they knew. So why I was able to tell this? Because I already did experiments with all these things. Then I shortlisted these three. I eliminated this one. Then I read many papers and I created on my set of a comparisons. So what did my comparisons? It means what? I read all the major papers till that time period. I created a comparative table of those, let's say 15 papers. And these were the comparisons against which I will compare my approach. So experimental paper, one stage. Second stage, I did this comparative paper. And now all my approaches that were proposed, all the approaches that were proposed, I compared the approaches with this. And these were my proposed papers. These are my proposed papers. So in this manner, I go on with papers on my area. So similarly, you can decide कि तो आप लोग ऐसा कर सकते हो क्या? And at that time, you don't need to move back. And every time when I was doing experimentation, I read all the papers. So this step 1 and step 2, they form my chapter number 1, chapter number 2, and chapter number 3 of my thesis. Introduction, literature survey, dataset analysis. Because I did experimentation, so I knew what my dataset and everything is. And then chapter number 4, 5, 6, it was on my 3 proposed approaches. And chapter number 7 was conclusion, comparison, and everything. So it was like this. And now, let's say if you are working nowadays, many people are working on image data sets and all. So your first paper, if you are working on image data set or you are working on video data set, then your first paper must be an analysis of data set. You are supposed to write some review paper on analysis of data set. Let's say you have breast cancer images, then perform the detailed analysis of the data set and write a paper. Because if you know the data, then only you can apply machine learning algorithms properly instead of going for blindfolded shots. So this should be your first paper. Then there was one query from a madam regarding wireless sensor network, and she's trying to do some malicious data identification. So this should be your first step also, since it is your wireless network, and you want to identify malicious behavior in wireless network. Then what you should do? You should first analyze the data and present your findings, that what is malicious data and what is non-malicious data. Differentiate that data, present their characteristics and everything. Once your paper is approved by some good journal, once it is approved by good journal, then it simply presents, or it simply says that your work is approved by some standard body. If the paper, the journal in which your work is approved is indexed by Scopus, can anyone say that your work is not good? No one can say. At max, they might say, okay, there is some scope for improvement. Yes, there is always some scope for improvement. But then the first query is solved. So this should be your first paper and first step when you are writing research papers. if it is a wireless domain or if it is an image video domain. And suppose in some cases, like say there are some people who are working on food quality analysis. Let's say from image or video, tell whether the mango is good or bad or quality of rice. And if you are preparing your data, if you are preparing your own data set, then you must write this paper, data analysis paper, data set analysis paper. So where you are providing and all the evidences to support that your data is complete. So what do you mean by complete data? That we will see in next session. But you must write this your first paper. Otherwise, during your first paper only, the reviewer will say that, okay, this data set is not standard data set. Then how can I accept the results on this data set? So you must write this paper first. So depending on different scenario, your first paper in your PhD can be different. Okay. Kshitija ma'am has a question for writing research proposal. What steps should follow? So see, writing a research proposal and writing a research paper both are totally different things, and they are in total different world. If you are writing a research proposal, then first thing that you should mention is what is the problem statement that you want to solve, and you will get a funding for research proposal if it is having some societal importance. When it comes to India, either it should have some societal importance or a particular benefit for government. Like Indian government is now looking for drone based solutions or drone image based solutions, something like that. If they are looking for this, or a satellite, sorry, extremely sorry for this. If you are having some satellite images, drone based images, and you are able to give some solutions, that is okay. Means it should have some benefit. Body को कुछ benefit होना चाहिए. Okay, I hope I answered the question of Kshitija ma'am. Then there is a question from Tabrez Khan. When we work on review paper, which journals you recommend to go for? See, when you are working on review paper, which journals we should go for? See, normally उसका एक standard or predefined answer भी है that you should go for all reputed journals. But what I can say, let's say you are writing a paper for, let's say, IEEE transaction. On, let's say, computer vision. Then first there should be at least few citations from that journal only. Matlab, it will help. This is not a standard rule, but it will help you. This is one thing. Second thing, uh, on internet, if you will search, you will get that what are the best journals in particular domain, what are the best journals in computer vision domain, what are the best journals in image processing domain, what are the best journals in computer network domain, what are the best journals in computer network security domain, then a wireless security domain. So if you're writing a paper in wireless security, then you should select top 20 or 30 journals first, and there should be at least one or two papers from each journal. This is first thing. Second thing, there should be at least few papers from IEEE transactions. Let's say there are 40 citations, then there should be at least 3 to 4 paper from IEEE transaction. This gives a weightage. Okay, हाँ तुम लोगों ने पढ़ा है कुछ. If you are not getting anything at all on a particular thing for which you want to make a point, then only you go for IEEE conference. Then only you go for IEEE conference, or simply avoid references from IEEE conference. This is not at all a good idea. Most recent references, see, IEEE conference में कभी avoid करने का after 2006. Before 2006, there were very few IEEE conferences. Let's say you want to refer something from 1992. और तुम लोग बोलोगे IEEE conference ही available है. Okay. So the quality of IEEE conference in 1992 and quality of IEEE conference in 2010 दोनों में जमीन आसमान का difference है. It's a huge difference. So if you are referring some paper from that, that is good. And there should be some old references. That is most important part. Let's say, you know, the particular domain started in 1994 and today's to 2020. Then ensure that introduction is from most oldest paper. You can take introduction from most oldest paper. Let's say from 1994 to let's say 2000. Why? Because introduction for that topic will remain same. Image classification is image classification, video classification is video classification, cancer detection is cancer detection only. Introduction will remain same. So you can cover those and you can tell कि क्या हुआ था. Then from 2000 to let's say 2010, you can go about when you are talking about literature survey. So please, few papers from this, let's say 30% paper from here and 70% paper you can take from 2010 to 2020. क्या चल रहा है? And so on. And when you are comparing your approach, at that time also you need to cite some papers. Those papers should be from 2015 to 2020. You should compare your approach with most recent papers. So this is how you should select your papers. Uh, a journal I strongly recommend, Tabriz. I cannot strongly recommend any journal because there are hundreds of journals, and hundreds of journals are good for their own domain. Ensure that the journal is Scopus Index or SCI Index or SCI Index, something like that. Journal should have one of the indexing. Then we can say the journal is good. So the most widely accepted indexings are something like this: Scopus, SCI, SCIE, then Web of Science indexing or indexed by IET, something like that. They have their own Commendex indexing. So if journal is indexed by one of these things for at least few years, let's say the journal is indexed from one of these indexing from last 5 years, then you can say the journal is good. No need that everyone should know the name. It's something like that. If someone is asking, okay, journal reputed, nahi, I don't know, so you can say the journal is indexed by Scopus or one of the indexing from last 5 years. And they have, means what? They have some impact factor also. And it is, even though impact factor is 0.2 or 0.1, that is sufficient. No problem. And you can say that journal is good. And no one can say that ये अच्छा नहीं है करके. Then okay, I don't know the name. The display name is SEC HTTP S1 something, I don't know. The question is Web of Science, which is not in Scopus. Is good, sir. Okay, even though it is indexed by Web of Science and it is published by let's say Elsevier, चलेगा. If a journal is let's say hosted on Elsevier or Springer or ACM, but it is indexed either by Web of Science or Scopus, then also it will work because their review process is good, because they need to follow their review process, something like that. I hope I answered the question. Okay, class. Any other? Sorry. Any other question from any other participant? Um, Meena ma'am?
Yes, sir.
Ma'am, we have delivered all the contents of the session and now there are no more questions.
Okay, in that case, we can take a break and join back up for the post lunch sessions.
Okay. Abdul is
Yeah.
asking that can we get the recording of the sessions? Yes, Abdul, at the end of a day, you will get the link for the recording of a session. by night.
Yes, we are going to share all the recordings with the participants. We will do that.
Okay, then we'll meet at 2 o'clock. Am I right, ma'am?
Yes, yes.
Okay, everyone, then thank you.
Your link for attendance and feedback is posted on the WhatsApp group. Kindly mark your attendance. Thank you, participants. We will meet after post-lunch session. Okay, sir, we will share here. Just a minute. Vijay, sir.
Yes, ma'am.
Can you share the WhatsApp link here in the chat box?
Yes, ma'am. Give me a second.
Yeah, yeah.
Done, ma'am.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, ma'am. Okay, ma'am. Then we'll take a break
Okay,
now.
then we will take a break and we will meet after lunch. Yeah. Thank you.
Okay,
Thank you, everyone.
ma'am, you will be there at 2 o'clock, or we will directly meet you tomorrow?
I will join for some time and then I will leave.
Okay, thank you, ma'am.
Yeah. And I have shared rest of the part with Jai Chand, sir,
Yes,
for
ma'am.
today's afternoon session. Yeah.
Yes, thank you, ma'am.
Okay, sir. Okay. Thank you.